Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see all of you. We have another one of our discipline dialogue sessions today for three of our programs. And joining me today, we have Professor Mack. If you want to take a second and introduce yourself, go ahead. And I have a loose agenda for everyone, just some questions. It's more talking points than anything else. We encourage everyone to ask as many questions as possible. It's supposed to be a dialogue. Dialogue always happens or occurs better when we have more people joining in. So if you have any questions, feel free to come off mute, raise your hand, either in real life or virtually with the button below. But I'll let Professor Mack introduce herself.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shantae Mack, and I am the accounting BOAT and CINS department chair here in the Lake County area for Ivy Tech Community College. I am excited to have this conversation, this dialogue with you all as it relates to our programs and dual credit.
Yeah, so thank you. And then real quick, I should introduce myself too. My name is Mark Schneider. I am the AVP of K-14 Academic Initiatives and Support. I help with all of our dual credit programming statewide. So we'll start off here with just kind of a basic question here for Shantae. What are some good dual credit best practices that you've seen during site visits, or also maybe just some best practices that you've seen in your own courses that you teach on campus that should potentially be utilized by some of our dual credit instructors?
Best practices that I've seen, I would say it's more or less the explanation. The books currently that we're using have done a pretty good job that I feel so I've taught accounting for Ivy Tech, or I taught it back in the early 2000s versus now. So I've seen a change in how the books go. So I believe the books have a good feel of breaking it down. However, I think the best practice in terms of just teaching and making sure that the students are able to grasp that material is really take our time getting through those first 2 to 3 chapters there, so that we're able to kind of hone in and really get the foundation of the accounting principle. Also just making sure that the students know, especially when it comes to the accounting, that it's achievable. It's not difficult, it's not hard, or I don't want to say it's not hard, that it's achievable. And so what I find is and oftentimes what I do first in my classes, the first time, is I will ask, what are their myths? Like, what have you heard about accounting? What have you heard about an accounting course? Or what do you think about many students will equate it to math, and so how do you feel about math? So I try to get those feelings so that I know who I'm dealing with in terms of the student, and then I will go ahead and then try to ease those fears or whatever they may have as coming into an accounting course, and just letting them know that it is achievable. So I just think that's one best practice, is to really be able to make that connection with the students right away, as opposed to just jumping right in. So I believe that's would be a best practice. And then just really as we walk through the material with the students, to really walk through the material with them, and really taking the time to take the steps and show them the steps. And I found that my students on campus have really taken that and needed that, and used it, even when they're, working on their projects on their own. And so unfortunately, up to this point, I have not, because of the newness in the role, I have not been able, or have not had to do a site visit. So I'm, very excited about that coming up real soon here.
So you did touch upon textbooks a little bit earlier. One thing that's kind of been maybe a frequent topic in the high school space as of last year. The state has changed a lot of textbook fees and things like that high schools are allowed to do. Do you know of any good OER, like open resource materials, that are dual credit instructors in in these programs could potentially utilize. So that way, maybe they could save their school district and their students a few dollars and utilize some resources that we have for free instead of having to pay, the typical book fee for those courses.
Um,
And sometimes the answer is no. It's
yeah,
varied. This
I
is
was
how we
gonna
rank
say,
our 12
so I'm
session.
I'm an I am an Excel savvy person. And so I think that really would depend on the techiness of the teacher. So what I've done in some of my classes, and even in like the accounting courses now, when we are looking at the various projects, some of the other from across the state have taken the accounting course and created their own Excel. So I've done that. I've created my own Excel spreadsheets that kind of align with some of the problems in the class. And it, to me, I think that has helped some of my students versus always using the Connect version of it. And so I'm not sure because I'm that person that will go and create my own. Oh, so I haven't necessarily looked, but I will definitely, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing it. I will definitely look to see if there's any resources out there for high school teachers. I sometimes, because I think I'm a novice and I'm a mini techie and a young, techie. So I'm like, everybody knows how to do this stuff. If I can do it, everybody can do it. And I often find that's not true. So, and I don't have a problem sharing the things that I have done though.
Yeah, that's good. If you do have anything that's easily that could be shared out, feel free to email me and I will make sure
Okay.
everyone gets that stuff. So this is also something that's kind of varied wildly by program. Are there any professional development opportunities that are dual credit instructors in accounting and business operations in those areas? Any PD opportunities that they can utilize, maybe over the summer or something that's available online that they can do on their, in their spare time. And often sometimes too, depending on the program, Ivy Tech will be hosting PD opportunities depending on the program. So is there anything either with Ivy Tech or with third-party providers that our instructors might be able to utilize?
So currently I am working on, I'm doing it's the 2-year accounting professionals or accounting teachers at 2-year colleges. I'm doing their training right now so that I can be able to offer some professional development over the summer. And I am attending the conference here in May. And that was one of my goals, is to look for additional resources that I can possibly bring back for the summer. And if I do, if I am able, or if there are some that come up from that, then I will definitely email them out to you so that they can go out to everybody else. But that was one of the things that I wanted to work on this summer, was to develop some professional development for both my accounting adjuncts, regular accounting adjuncts, as well as the dual credit.
And it looks like Kelly put a thing in the chat. It looks like maybe a question about is it the teachers of accounting at 2-year colleges? Is that what you mentioned?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Teachers of accounting 2-year colleges. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. We'll touch upon the other questions here in the chat in just a second. Let me pull up the agenda to make sure we touch upon everything. Is there any hot topics that you've noticed in your programs here that's kind of popped up over the last year? We've had a lot of our other programs mention AI and kind of the issues around that, and how we try to hopefully are able to harness that all for good, but we've also been seeing some instances where it's maybe not being used as well as it should have. Are there any other either AI or other topics that could be potentially be viewed as a hot topic in these programs?
So in accounting, we are, or I am one of the choosing to this summer as well pilot another it uses AI to help generate simulations for students, real world simulations, to assist with understanding the accounting principles. So I am going to actually pilot that this summer in my accounting 101 course. So I think that would be a hot topic. We've had a couple of accounting instructors use it already in their 101 courses and they like it. So I'm going to try it this summer for myself and see if that's something that I would like to introduce. And if so, I definitely will want to introduce it as well. And hopefully we can get it, statewide if enough of us use it and like it. For that, that would be the one hot topic. The other thing is that we have changed some courses in the accounting for completing the accounting degree. And so that would be the other hot topic. One would be the one that used to be the QuickBooks and all of those. We have taken away one of those and replaced it with a data analytics course, which will help satisfy that requirement, as well as we have for technical certificates, if they're like achieving a technical certificate, then we've reduced, or I don't want to say reduced, we've changed some of the requirements of getting to the technical certificate. And so they used to have to take multiple courses, and now there's now just the one course of 122 that they would have to take in order to complete that. So that would be the hot topics that I would.
Okay, that sounds good. I am putting in the chat for everyone. We have not finalized and finished this yet, but for our dual credit instructors, do save it. It will help you later in the fall. We are in the process of uploading course by course dual credit syllabi templates for everyone. So in the past, which you can find the generic template that we have at the bottom of the folder for our courses. In the past, we would just hand out a course syllabus template that was used for everything from accounting to welding and in between. And there's just every once in a while issues that pop up, especially like around grading scales for specific programs, things like that. And so what we're doing is we're developing a course by course template so that way the dual credit instructors can download those and then modify basically the bare essentials of what they have to. You'll still have to put your name, your email address, things like that. The calendar will probably take the majority of your time to do, but some of those other things that sometimes are just an accidental oversight that kind of causes a slip up is being taken care of. So that should help at least reduce some of those issues, both for the dual credit instructor and for the program chair that's conducting the syllabi reviews. We do have a couple of questions in the chat here for you, Ashante. One is, do you happen to know what book is being used for intro to communications? Keeping in mind, I don't know if there's a specific one that the college is recommending, but dual credit instructors can use different books than what's being used on campus as long as the same course objectives are being met. But is there a specific book or series or anything like that that you recommend for people to utilize?
Let me check my book, and I can't think of it because this coming term, the fall term, will be the first time I'm offering it under my tenure. And so and I do know in terms of the book, I'd have to go back and look at my list. And so if that person can drop their email in the chat, I'll email it to them when I go back and look at my list.
Okay. And I see Kelly said she can put the book list for Boat 216. So anything you can do, that is appreciated. Thank you there, Kelly. We appreciate that. I would say, and then I'll ask this question too. I'll give my own little answer to it, at least something that can help with it. But there is a question of how do we get more students into accounting? And one thing that accounting does have a little bit of a built-in advantage over some of the other programs is that because accounting 101 and 102 are core transfer library courses, the state is providing reimbursement to the high school or school district that provides those classes. And so it's $40 a credit hour to the school district. So if you have a student in Accounting 101, that ends up being $120 per student for the high school right there. So, times that out by 10, 20, however many students are in there. And if you can parlay that with, the capstone classes later on of, Accounting 102, that's also a core transfer library class. That's another $120. It's not the magic bullet or anything like that solves every problem. But I know for some school districts, that does weigh into the chart that they have of the pluses and minuses whenever they're weighing out what programs to do. So do keep that in mind for the funding that school districts get for those classes. Do you have any other suggestions of ways to get more students into accounting?
Honestly, that's my question. That's one of my questions across the board. One of the things that I'm working on here in Lake County is bringing more students into accounting. We've had I've done try to, I've attended, I'll attend like anything that the student government is having, anything that anyone is having. When I know some high school teachers that I've, talked to as well, in terms of just trying to gear students toward the career and letting them know that it's nothing to be afraid of. And again, that's just, coming from, conversations. I have a teenage son and he's like, Mom, what you do is very hard. Like, no, it's not. Just trying to make sure that I get out there and talk. I wish I knew the magic thing to tell people to bring students into the accounting world and field, aside from this is one of those fields that you pretty much will always, I feel, regardless of AI or anything else, I think accountants will always have a position in the world. So aside from just saying that, job security, that's a struggle of mine right now too, here in Lake County.
Yeah, I would add, just from my statewide perspective, going to different meetings and hearing different stuff, not being a content expert or anything like this. And I think entrepreneurship struggles with this a little bit as well, is trying to differentiate itself from business.
Mhm.
Because to a lot of high school administrators, business, accounting, entrepreneurship, while they are all very different programs, in their minds of the Venn diagram of how all of that splits up, there's a lot of overlap.
Right.
And trying to be able to differentiate yourself in a way that demonstrates that value. How that is able to be done, I don't know, but I think that is a big selling point for the administrators who are making those decisions for which programs to move forward with.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the things that
Oh,
I'm sorry, Mark, one of the things that we're working on here in Lake County is I am working with the with our accelerated team here too, to try to see if we can see about offering the accounting degree on one of the accelerated tracks as well. So just trying to make it more advantageous for students. I think that's the other way too.
yeah, and then I did see Kelly's comment in the chat about if you have any questions, whether it is about books or maybe it's something with degrees and course sequencing, or maybe just trying to develop a better professional relationship with someone on the college campus to strengthen that that pathway. Do reach out to your program chair. Our program chairs are great resources. That's usually whenever I get a question in my inbox, I always send it to the appropriate either program chair at the campus or one of our K-14 academic advisory committee members. That your program chair in an ideal world, and what we try to set up a framework around for that relationship is to have, the program chair view their dual credit instructors like they would any of their adjuncts on campus, where they have that professional support, because a dual credit course, for all intents and purposes, is a college class with college objectives, college material, a college grade, everything on par with that. And we also want to extend that to our instructors, to make sure that they get that same experience, or as close as possible to the experience that our adjuncts get. So do reach out to your program chairs locally across the state, whether it's Shantae. I believe Kelly is a program chair. What campus? I want to say, is it Lawrenceburg or Madison?
Lawrenceburg.
Lawrenceburg. Okay, I was trying to remember. Yeah, so she's a great resource as well, from across the state. So wherever you are located, reach out to your local program chair. I believe, let me review our agenda. I think that's about everything. Something that has been brought up in some of the other sessions has been whether there are course shells and material available for free. There is a differentiation that we have to make between our dual credit students and our on-campus students when it comes to a lot of course shells and the materials that are pre-populated into that, because our on-campus students generally are paying tuition, and those tuition dollars go to pay for all of those materials, and they're copyrighted. So we can't just take those materials and provide them out for free. So that is where, sometimes there's, tension's not the right word, but just that difference between on-campus and dual credit. But each dual credit provider is given a course shell that they can add things into Ivy Learn. If you're using Canvas at your high school, it's generally a pretty easy transition to go back and forth between the Ivy Tech and your high school Canvas. So if you want to pull one thing from the other, we also do have some course materials, just generally speaking, for all of our dual credit courses available in the Commons through Ivy Learn. So sometimes there can be some hidden gems in there that you can find to utilize. If you do have specific things that you want to look for in there, usually your program chair can point to those materials that are available. So with all of that being said, that's our agenda. Does anyone have any other questions, things they'd like to ask Shantae, myself, anyone else that's on the call here? When I extend that opportunity.
Would it be possible to ask any of our dual credit teachers that's on to introduce themselves?
Oh yeah, that's perfectly available. I do see several Otter boxes here, or Otter pilots that might be recording on their behalf. But yeah, if you are a dual credit instructor, please come off mute. Also, this will be recorded and put on our YouTube page over the summer for people to utilize that might have missed this as well. But if you are a dual credit instructor, please say hey.
Hey, I'm Carla Gelhausen. How are you?
Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Black. I'm with Wayne High School.
Okay.
John Dawson. I'm with McKinsey Center for Innovation and Technology with Lawrence Township.
Do we have anyone else? I know we have a few other Ivy Tech people on here. Laura is on the K-14 team. Kelly introduced herself from Lawrenceburg, and Jennifer is with the Indianapolis campus, and she's been our faithful friend, joining us for I think every one of these. So when she gets done, she's going to be, I'm going to have to make her my assistant, because she will know everything about academics. So if someone asks me a question and I forget, I'll be like, what was that answer again, Jennifer? I remember that was discussed. So she's been doing great at all these. I do want to put in the chat once again that Google form. If any of our dual credit instructors want to fill that out, we'll make sure you get some professional development points later on. I'm also going to put my name in the chat along with my email address. Sometimes we get some questions that people would like to ask afterwards. This can you can send me an email that way. I'll try to get you the answer that way. Shantae, if you could put your email
Yes,
in there as
sure.
well. She's a great resource to utilize as well. So I'm going to give a last call here for any questions, comments, concerns, shout outs, anything like that that someone would like to share before we dismiss the group.
That's Mac 36. That's correct.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you for all joining. And two quick things. High school students, remember, take free classes with us this summer. Any and all dual credit or on-campus courses are eligible for the free tuition. And then also, we just want to say thank you to all of our dual credit instructors for all that they do. You are high school teachers, and teaching dual credit is often something that is done out of the goodness of your heart, even though it requires a lot of extra work on your behalf, whether it's doing a syllabus submission or doing a site visit, doing professional development, all these other things that go into it. We really appreciate you doing that. And you do it largely just, like I said, out of the goodness of your heart. And that says a lot about your character as a person, doing all of that for your students to provide them an extra opportunity for them that gives them a lot of extra benefits. And you do it just because you're a great person. So we do appreciate all of that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. Thank you to my Ivy Tech colleagues for joining us, and hope you all have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon and the rest of your week.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.